Yo, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about Aguas Calientes, Peru. And I'm going to give you guys a travel guide, everything that you need to know about visiting there. Okay, so first things first, you're only going to be coming here if you are wanting to travel to Machu Picchu. Okay, and so you may or may not know, but there's actually a town outside of Machu Picchu that has hotels, services, and food. Anything that you will need right next to Machu Picchu, okay? And so we're going to go over 5 things specifically in this video. First, how to get there, the best way / cheapest way to get there, okay? Secondly, we're going to talk about street sense, everything you need to know about what goes on in the streets in Aguas Calientes, okay? Thirdly, we'll talk about the demographics / weather information, all you need to know about the people and the climate there, okay? Fourthly, we'll talk about hotels and what you should expect to pay for a hotel and how to find a good deal in Aguas Calientes. Okay, and then lastly, number 5, we'll talk about food and water and how much you should expect to be paying for that while you are there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. And so here's what the town of Aguas Calientes looks like. There's a lot of streets that look just like this, where you'll either be going up or downhill or actually across a river. That's kind of how the town is set up. I will show you a little bit more on what the town specifically looks like, but first I wanted to talk with you guys about getting there, okay? And so let's go ahead and go over to Google Maps. And so here's Aguas Calientes, a nice little red flag right here. And so you may or may not know this, but you can't drive to Aguas Calientes, okay? So there's no roads that connect from Aguas Calientes to the rest of Peru, which means you have 2 options in how you can get there. You can either take a train or you can walk, okay? So that's really your 2 options, okay? And so the prices for those, let's go ahead and briefly go through those, okay? Because I did do a whole video on the cheapest way to go to Machu Picchu. Make sure to check that out. But anyways, here's the price for Peru Rail, okay? So this isn't the cheapest thing in the world. And so here's just the departure tickets, about $300, and then your return tickets, really not much better. I went through here and picked the cheapest option, which would come up to $384 round trip from Cusco to Aguas Calientes and back to Cusco. Okay, so that's that ticket right here. Secondly, you could go through another company, Inca Rail. The first one was Peru Rail. Okay, this next one, Inca Rail. It's a little bit cheaper, but still maybe not the budget that you were looking for. And so same thing, you have to book a trip there and back. And so one way, $57, coming back, $52, total of $109 for that option. Okay, is there a cheaper option? Well, yes, okay. As I said, I did make an entire video on the cheapest way to get to Machu Picchu, but let's go ahead and briefly talk about what might be the cheapest way to do that, okay? And so this right here, this is a route that I would recommend, okay? And so here's Cusco over here, just to give you a point of reference. And there's a town next to Cusco called Urubamba. In this town, you can take a 40 Sole trip to a town called Santa Teresa, which is actually the closest city to Machu Picchu, okay? And so obviously then from there you have 2 options. You can either go to a rail office that they have in Santa Teresa to take a train to Machu Picchu or Aguas Calientes, or you can just walk, okay? And so either way, it's a pretty doable journey, something to consider, okay? And now let's talk a little bit about the street sense in Aguas Calientes, what you need to know, okay? And so first things first, it's also known as Machu Picchu Pueblo, so don't get Machu Picchu Pueblo and Aguas Calientes mixed up, okay? So here's what the town looks like from afar. As you can see, this is the journey walking to Aguas Calientes from Santa Teresa. So this is what it'll look like from afar. And so you should know about Aguas Calientes that it's not the cheapest place in the world for tourists, okay? And so I hate to use this term, but it is kind of a quote-unquote tourist trap. If you've ever been to, for example, Disney World, it's a lot like the Disney World of Peru, I guess you could say. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's expensive, and it just seems like the prices in Aguas Calientes are inflated compared to the rest of Peru. So that's what I mean by tourist trap, okay? And so it is a little bit more expensive than, say, for example, Cusco or other cities in the Sacred Valley, but that's simply just because it is a popular town for tourists to go to. Also, the services in Aguas Calientes, you'll be able to find all the food, water, hotel, everything that you will need, okay? Also, it's a very small town, in that you shouldn't be having to worry about checking your pockets or looking out for the locals. Okay, if anything, the only thing that you really need to be potentially worried about in Aguas Calientes is the other people or the other tourists. Okay, let's quickly go through some pictures before I get into the demographic information. So there's lots of statues in Aguas Calientes. It's one thing that's really cool about the city. So here's one that's coming into the city. Here's the main plaza itself. This is actually the area where you can buy tickets to Machu Picchu. If you are looking online and it says the tickets are quote unquote sold out, just go to the town of Machu Picchu or Machu Picchu Pueblo, Aguas Calientes, whatever you want to call it, and you will be able to buy tickets there. Okay, so something to look out for. Here's some more of the main square in Aguas Calientes, what it looks like. Welcome to Machu Picchu Pueblo, even though you're still 400 feet below, but it is also part of the main plaza right here. And so here's actually a good view of what the town will look like. There's a nice little river running right through the middle of the town, and then there'll be two sides where there's alleys of shops. Okay, there's a big market right in this area right here. Okay, and then there's also more alleyways hidden behind from this picture. Okay, so lots of shopping area. Now let's go ahead and talk about some demographic / weather information. So as I was saying, there's about 3,000 people that live in the town. Okay, the elevation of the town is 2,040 meters compared to Machu Picchu itself, which is 2,430 meters. And so that means if you were wanting to hike up to Machu Picchu, that you would have to hike about 400 meters or 1,312 feet. Okay, a little bit on the weather. Okay, Machu Picchu or Aguas Calientes, Machu Picchu, Pueblo, whatever you want to call it, it's actually comparatively really hot compared to the rest of Peru. Okay, and so it looks like, you know, average 25 to 27 on a consistent basis. Okay, so if you don't know the conversion, 27 degrees Celsius, about 80 degrees, okay, as low as about 77. Another thing that you should know about Aguas Calientes is that there actually is a hot springs that is available on site. Okay, it's about 10 soles for the entry. So if you are hiking up to Machu Picchu and you come back and you want to relax, well, you can just spend a few dollars and go to the hot springs. Okay, let's go ahead and now talk about hotel prices. This is an area where you want to be very careful, okay, because as I was saying, it is a little bit of a quote-unquote tourist trap. The prices for the hotels, guys, based on what you can research online and what you actually get at Machu Picchu, Pueblo, or Aguas Calientes, it can vary, okay? And so, for example, I bought a Lonely Planet Peru guide, okay? And it was telling me that in Aguas Calientes that I could expect to be able to get a budget hotel room for about 15 soles a night. Well, that is not true at all, at least according to my personal experience, okay? And so when I was there, I wasn't able to find any hotels for anything less than 100 soles per night, or about $30 per night, okay? And so if you want a nice hotel in Aguas Calientes, at least $30 a night is what you're going to have to expect to pay. Okay, and now lastly, let's go ahead and finish up by talking about the food and water. Okay, and so kind of the same thing, guys. Really in Aguas Calientes, things are a little bit more expensive than you would expect in the outside country of Peru. You'll have a hard time finding a meal for anything less than 8 soles. Okay, realistically, if you want, you know, a nice meal, you'll probably have to pay around 15 soles per meal. Okay, and the same could be said about your water. If you are wanting to buy bottled water, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably do, okay, it's going to be at least 4 soles and up. Okay, so overestimate a little bit for everything, and you have a nice idea on what the prices are like for Aguas Calientes. Okay, and so also on a final note, if you are traveling to Machu Picchu, make sure to bring plenty of food with you. Okay, because at the top, or right here, specifically right here, okay, behind this picture, there is one buffet available on site at Machu Picchu, but it's $40 US. If you don't want to pay $40 US for a buffet, just make sure to bring lots of food with you as you are hiking up to Machu Picchu. Okay, but that's all I have for you guys today on Aguas Calientes. Have a good time. Enjoy Peru. Peace.